The 7 data points that you must track as a coach to actually get more clients. Let me just hit you with the hard truth that online coaching is different to in-person PT. And if you want to make this year a year you're actually going to seriously progress, I would highly recommend that you track these initially. And it's very simple to do. You're looking at this, you're thinking, that sounds good. Now, we still managed to boost this figure for us, even with a team. Listen to James Smith and these guys if you want to, but they come from a background of having an insanely large organic audience, millions of followers across channels. They haven't been through the grind. Alright guys, welcome back to Work Life and Balance. Today I'm going to be taking you through the 7. I've put 5. Why have I put 5? It's not 5, it's 7. The 7 data points, let me just rub that out. The 7 data points that you must track as a coach to actually get more clients. Now, there are levels to the game in coaching. We grew PB Academy to over 250 active clients. We grew to a team of coaches and a sales system. So that was levels above probably where you are right now. The person I'm speaking to is an earlier stage I was at in my career where I just wanted to grow roughly from 15 to 20 clients I was averaging, and I wanted to get to 80 to 100 clients and still deliver a great service, right? And there's basically 4 levels between that point. I've made a different video about that, but this is going to help you if you're at those early stages of 15, 20 clients. Around that stage, you're probably doing maybe 2-3k a month. You want to grow to like 5-10k a month consistently so you can actually retain and live a life that's not worried about where your next client has come from. You've actually got a system in place where if you track these 7 metrics consistently, just like you do check-ins with clients, you should be doing a check-in for your business. And you may not be the person that wants to be a business owner, or you didn't get into that for that reason. You got into it because you love coaching. You want to make a good online coaching business. Well, let me just hit you with the hard truth that online coaching is different to in-person PT. In-person PT, you can just love the gym, show up, be present, and you will pick up clients by being charismatic and talking about the stuff you love. Online is a different game altogether. It's online coaching. It's a different job. It's a different role, right? And these are the requirements for that role for you to consistently get clients and actually live a good life. So it's 7, right? I don't know why I got that wrong. I was initially going to do 5, and then I realized there's actually 7 key points you need to track. Caveat to the whole levels to the game thing. Every single one of these points, when you obsess and when you go to the levels we did, which we were averaging around 30k a month, there's like subcategories, sub-metrics that you want to track and explore to really understand what you're doing. Now, I want to make this simple for you to understand and actually action. By the end of this video, it'll hopefully change the way you see your own business and what you track day to day. And if you want to make this year a year you're actually going to seriously progress, I would highly recommend that you track these initially. And it's very simple to do. So let's just dive into it, right? The first one I've written down is going to be really, really obvious, but it's going to save you spending 5 to 10k on a mentor to tell you to do the basic stuff. And it's the posts per week, right? And before you click off the video straight away, we are going to get into juicier stuff, juicier metrics that is going to be nice and easy for you to track. But hand on heart, tell me for a fact, right? I'm going to set you some tasks of what I think you should do and what is required for you to actually get to that, let's just say 10k a month. I hate saying 10k a month because that's what business mentors online and gurus shout about, because it's like the magic number. But it's a nice number to aim for, and it is a milestone when you're leveling up in the game. But very simple, 1 post per day, right? Per day. And that means 7 days a week. That means 30 posts a month. So hand on heart, have you actually done that? You can be brave and you can comment below. There's only 10 viewers, so it's only going to be me and you going back and forth in the comments if you want to do it, if you want to go for it. But hand on heart, have you actually done 1 post every single day consistently? And when people hear this, they think, oh, well, I haven't got a marketing agency that I'm working with. I haven't got all these tools at hand. I haven't got the resources, the capital, the time. This is your job. Like, that is one of the most important things. When we think of a funnel, traffic, views, eyeballs, top of funnel, most important. Then it comes down, how do you get and convert those views into leads? And then sales, how do you actually sell them into your program? And then obviously client delivery, exceptional service, and then the snowball begins. No, that's it. That's the simplicity of the business, right? But if you don't do this 1 post a day, you're just really, really going to struggle. And I would almost say at this point, if you can't do 1 post a day consistently, don't bother trying to live like the life of an online coach. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to work, and it's going to be something that you hate. You live to hate. Now, this is the caveat to that, though. You can actually do this really raw and authentic, because people know at this stage in your life, you're not this influencer online, where you're producing content extremely high quality, working with marketing agencies, pumping out 10 posts a day. That's actually high quality driven content that you've thought about the topics, you've written scripts, you've edited it for hours. I'm not talking that stuff. I'm talking just showing up daily. I'm talking just whether it's on your stories, whether it's producing a value driven reel, even just showing people that you go to the gym every day and showing your journey. I think the ball is really swinging back that way now. Whereas of the COVID era, 2020s, I don't know if I'm going to say that word on YouTube, but COVID, maybe bleep that out twice. It went down the rabbit hole of like value driven, nothing about you, nothing about your journey. Before that, it was all about your journey, following people online, following influencers because you love them. And then it's going back the other way. People actually just want to follow people. They don't want to just consume content that's just going to be constantly telling them the best way to do a chest exercise. Okay, you still drip feed that in, but you just don't make it all of what you do. And that's something we've changed as well. So 1 post a day. I don't care if it's just you literally hitting record on your iPhone, clipping it up a little bit, just cutting out some of the stuff that you got wrong and then throwing it up. That's it. Just do that every single day. Show up consistently. Listen to the top guys like Stephen Bartlett. When he meets people at his events and stuff like that, one of the things he always says to them is like, if you post for 365 days straight and you send me an email by the end of next year, you show me your Instagram, you've done it, you've listened to me after this conversation, I'll invite you out to my event, blah, 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 and I'll help you on a more one-to-one basis. Because number one, it shows that you're actually consistent, you're disciplined, you're going to do the boring stuff consistently. But number two, it's one of the most powerful things you can do. So if it's coming from the top like that, where he's got a huge team and he says to guys that just want to make an impact and grow, that is the best thing they can do and focus on. Why wouldn't you do that as well? So hand on heart, ask yourself straight away, have I done this? If I haven't, start doing it and start tracking it. And every week you check in with yourself daily, and then you find out, if I only done 5 out of 7, why? Why did I only do 5 out of 7? So that's number one. So number two, what I'm going to write down for this one is new conversations. Set yourself a target. Now, I would probably, it's going to sound weird, I would do this Monday to Friday, right? So I would ask myself, you can either go volume and you can get ignored and you can be that annoying person in everyone's messages or message requests on Instagram or something like that, that gets completely ignored because it's automated. So you can go with the gurus that tell you to do volume and go for 100 messages a day, 30 messages a day. I would be far more tactical and take time with each one and set myself a target of, can I do 5 per day? Right? And I know now, you're looking at this, you're thinking, that sounds good. I can do 5 a day. Now, eat your 5 a day, but eat it well, right? So when you're doing 5 a day, you need to be going onto that person's profile, strategically selecting them. Maybe from your story views is a great place to start. Go on your story views. There's people that are highly engaged with you and are watching you consistently. Find someone that's your ideal client. Find someone that's your ideal avatar. You should know this from your target audience identifier. If not, link below. You can check that out. It's completely free and you can do it. 5 a day. Make it really personalized and make them, we can talk about strategy another time with regards to how to actually outreach without coming across like a complete dick and just being that person that people hate to see in their message request. But the best way to go about it is just be human, like you've met that person on the street. Don't straight away go in there trying to sell them your program. I would just start conversations, right? Just take interest in them. Be genuine. Like, see something on their profile, on their feed, and just comment about it. Or if there's some training stuff up there, just comment about it, saying that this is great. It's nice to see someone else pushing hard. Whatever it is that you're actually doing, you can find a nice way of actually reaching out, first of all, without diving straight in with trying to sell something. That's not what you want to do. If someone did that to you in the street, you just want to push them away straight away. So new convos per week, need to be tracking that. Need to check in with yourself every single end of week as well, and ask yourself, have I hit the target? Yes. If not, why? What can I do differently next week? Okay. Now, the next one is going to be something that you may not have a website. If you do, if you don't, I would definitely recommend Social Proof Page. It is our tool, but you can check the link below. You can find out why. It helps you convert viewers into customers, into clients, if you haven't got a system to do that already. But you hear people talk about funnels, landing pages, all that sort of stuff, but I'm just going to simplify it. Page views, per week, right? You do need to be tracking the numbers. You need to be finding out of how many views you get from your posts, how many people are going through. And this obviously depends on how hard you are CTAing with your content. I like to have a give to ask ratio of 10 to 1. So with TVs and TV, before they've done millions of pounds worth of studies on all of this, right? Think about advertising. They worked out that it was about 3 to 1 ratio of how many ads they could show you. So for a 60-minute program, it would be pretty much 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of advertising, split up obviously, and then it would be like 40 minutes of content. So they worked out that ratio works well, and that's the max they can squeeze before people get really annoyed with how much ads they're being shown. And it's the same with online, except online they're also being bombarded not by just your content, but your organic content. They're being bombarded by ads from Instagram as well, or Facebook, or YouTube. So I go with the 10 to 1 ratio. That's the only time I actually do a hard CTA where my piece of content is literally strategically designed just to get leads. The rest of the time, it's all about just giving value, relating to people, relating to the target audience, and that's what the content's all about, okay? So page views per week of how many people actually go through that funnel, either clicking the link in your bio, or if you're doing the whole ManyChat funnel thing where they DM you a word, you send them over a piece of content. You may not even need ManyChat if you don't get that much interaction, that much engagement. You can handle it all manually, and I'd recommend that if you're not at that level yet where you get overwhelmed with the amount of messages you get. Otherwise, you're trying to automate something that doesn't need to be automated, and it's going to be more successful if you actually just be genuine and be more manual with it. So learn the game, be manual, put the hours in, put the work in, and obviously track the number of page views you get per week. If you're not using a funnel or anything like that, I would recommend setting up social proof page, because that is going to allow you to just use one page, very easy to set up. It's built for people that don't really understand marketing. It's going to get you the most amount of juice to squeeze out of this without knowing what you're doing. So recommend doing that, and then you can start tracking the page views you get, and then find out why or where the leak is, and this is what this is all about. So next thing is going to be the leads per week, right? And leads per week can be, and I would track this with, usually I would only track it by the amount of form submissions I'd actually get. So how many out of the page views I get, how many form submissions do I actually get? So how many applications, priority list, lead magnets, so people that have actually come in and maybe taken our free fat loss Bible or our arm day guide or chest day guide, like anything like that you're giving away, a lead magnet, something to collect leads, you can track that. Or these days as well, if you are CTAing on your Instagram or on your social medias to get them to comment a keyword and then it starts a conversation, you can track them, you can count them as well. So it depends on how automated you want this to be. I only used to use, because we had a lot of volume, I used to just track this by how many lead forms I would get filled in per week, and I knew that based on, I could check the conversion then percentage between the page views we get to how many leads we get, and I could see if there was something wrong with the landing page. But again, that's what I mean by levels to the game. You don't need to worry about that right now. You just need to worry about actually tracking this metric to get an idea of what's going on. Now, the next thing you need to be thinking about, right, is going to be the booked call. So this depends on your sales process. So you can say booked call per week. Now, again, it does depend on your sales process, but if you're not doing initial consultation calls, discovery calls, any sort of sales call, you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table. You can listen to James Smith and these guys if you want to, but they come from a background of having an insanely large organic audience, millions of followers across channels. They haven't been through the grind, because they blew up on socials first of all, and then they had to monetize that audience. And obviously the way they do that is completely different to how most people operate and operate successful businesses, as we did, but by doing it, and squeezing the juice again, because we didn't have this large organic following to work with. And yes, their answer is obviously post better content, get more views, build a better audience. I'd love to do that, but the reality is most people obviously struggle with that, because that's just the facts. Most people don't have millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers. So how do we then put our strength somewhere else? And that's through a sales process. Best way to do it is obviously jumping on a call with someone. If you're working with someone and you're selling a one-to-one service anyway, it makes sense to do that and have a short initial conversation, which is a sales call, really. So how many actual book calls are you getting per week? And then Obviously, the key metric after that is going to be close rate, right? So you need to be checking your close rate, and this just basically means out of how many book calls I had, let's say I had 10 calls booked, and let's say 4 of them actually became new clients. That means I got a 40% close rate, right? So how many people actually close? You don't have to track in percentages if you don't want to, and it scares you. Just track how many people actually sign up, and then you can just see that against the number of how many people booked in a call, right? Obviously, there's a show up rate involved there as well, like how many actually show up to the call, because that does get worse the more you rely on other channels, like cold channels, like paid ads or something like that. But most people working with organic, it's not going to be a problem, the show up rate. So most of the time, out of how many book calls you get, most people will actually show, and then you can work on your close rate. So that's the other one. Now the final one is something that I don't see many people talk about, because this is the exciting stuff, and it's all about getting new clients, right? Basically, every single thing I've talked about here is all about coming down the funnel and getting people into a sale. The last one is something that I think we done very, very well, considering we had a big team. When it's just you and people literally sign up to work with you and they actually get to work with you one-to-one, this is going to be something you should be able to have a lot higher than industry average, because they want to work with you and they've got a bond with you already before they work with you. Now, we still managed to boost this figure for us, even with a team. So when they were coming in following me, I was the face of the business. I was the person they wanted to work with. But then a lot of the time, they had an option to work with me one-to-one, but the more affordable option would be to work with our team and get the same result that you still wanted, but they wouldn't be working with me. And we still managed to boost our LTV by doing that. And that's the giveaway there. It's LTV, right? Which basically stands for, I'm going to write it down, lifetime value. And the way I would track this is not in money, but in months. Okay? So how long does someone actually stay with you, paying you a recurring payment? Depends how you sell your programs, depends on the pricing packages and everything like that. But most of the time, you obviously want to move someone into a recurring system. If you are, trying to build a business that's actually got some recurring element to it, how long do they actually stay with you? And this is usually, especially in the fitness industry, it's a good example of how good of a service you're actually providing. Very rarely, unless you're selling a really poor program, like why would you want to sell something that's just literally about getting someone 8 weeks into shape and then you've got to find new clients? It's a really terrible business model. But for most people, to build sustainable results and actually long-term lasting results, it's going to take a lot more time, 6 to 12 months, to really install those habits, teach them those new things, and allow them to go on their own way, right? Depends on the type of person you're targeting and obviously the result you're suggesting. But look at bodybuilders. Bodybuilders actually commit with coaches for years sometimes, right? If it's a good coach they're working with and they're getting a great service. So that's what I'm on about. Do you actually provide such a good service that people stay with you a long time? In the fitness industry, the industry average is actually only 3 months. So that's your benchmark, right? We managed to build that up to 6 months for our whole coaching team. With me, it was closer to 9 months. So that's with my clients that I was working with one-to-one. Yes, I've had some clients, and a very rare scenario, which I never thought would happen, where I had one client stay with me 7 years in total, right? And you may think, why did they stay with you 7 years? Surely they should have got the job done. They went through so many different phases. They went through pregnancies, competing in different shows, going through different lifestyle changes. Like from what started out as a bodybuilder, then ended up becoming like a lifestyle client, like totally different thing, family, different job, like crazy. And they just enjoyed the accountability. They enjoyed working together. So that's what I mean. Like sometimes it's not what you think it is. But I'm getting off on a tangent here now. But some clients have stayed with me years as well, like a good couple of people that have been with me 3 years, 4 years. So it does depend on obviously the type of person. But on average, when you look at the average of all of those blended up, and an easy way to figure this out is obviously the start date and then today's date. Like how long have they actually been with you, or the end date as well. Like the end date is something you've got to work out from. So when they do end, that's when you get a good idea of the average overall, and you look back over all your clients, how long did they stay, and you can do this in a formula with Google Sheet, nice and easy. So those are the metrics I would track. This is one I've highlighted in red because it's one of the ones that can be a leaky bucket in your business. You can do all of these good things right, but if they only stay for 8 weeks, then you're constantly trying to find new clients, and it's hard to build on something that keeps dropping out. It's like having loads and loads of subscriptions that you're paying for in your bank account, right? You can try and make as much money as you can, and I'm guilty of this, right? Because I do end up building up a lot of subscriptions, and I've got to go through it every month to actually like cut all the stuff out. Otherwise, I'm just literally burning money that I'm subscriptions and softwares I'm not using. So LTV is a silent killer of businesses. If you don't work on this, it basically means you're not providing a good service. And the other good things that comes out of having a good service, which will be good LTV, is referrals. So this is the snowball effect. Referrals silently build businesses. I don't rely on this to build businesses. It's not a reliable new channel that you can have of new clients coming in, but it is a result of having a good service. So if you've got a good service that provides results, they will tell people, and the more people you've got getting good results, the more people they tell, that's the snowball effect. That's how it grows. So referrals you get from this, and obviously, what else do you get from this? Results, testimonials, reviews, everything you need to just slap on ads on organic posts to show that you are as good as you say you are. And that's, again, another snowball effect. So this is something you obviously want to really focus on and make sure you're actually delivering a great service, and track this number. The only way you truly know is by tracking this number. So this has ended up being a longer video than I thought it would be, but these are the 7 must-track data points that I would have as a coach going into this new year if I wanted to grow from that 20 client mark to really, maxing out whatever your max out capacity could be. But with good systems, it's probably around the 80 client mark for most people, which is a lot of money, more than you probably thought you'd ever make. So yeah, I hope this helps. This channel is all about scaling and growing a service business online like a coach, and it's just from telling my experiences growing PB Academy. So I hope this helps. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you soon.